Check. Islam. Peace, Hotep. Greetings. This is Canaanland Moors live class, free. It's July 16th, 2013. We could start up with, as usual, getting the little bills out the way. First of all, we want to say Islam and appreciation to Brother Taj Tariq Bey for assisting Canaanland Moors with a Skype lecture this weekend, or last weekend that passed. If you've seen any Taj stuff, you already know how Taj does, so it's not even, we don't even have to do nothing on that level. But we just want to send it out there so the brother knows that, and people know that Canaanland Moors are appreciative of the Sheikh's work, right? Secondly, this Thursday, don't forget, this Thursday, if you're in Toronto, Yassine Bey is in town this week, right? He's going to be here on Thursday to do a concert. And the reason why we're plugging this, one, because he proclaimed his nationality, so he's a Moor. And secondly, because some of the brothers from the block from around the way are opening for him, One Oak. So if you get a chance to go on to YouTube, just do your research on One Oak and listen to some hip hop. All right, some hip hop from some conscious brothers in Toronto. All right. Now, next up, we have to clear up some of this Zimmerman verdict stuff that's been going on right now, right? Because people are upset and mad that it happened and all that, and we're just gonna deal with that a little bit later on. We got some more info to drop. Before we go there, we wanted to just put this on the record. In the paper today, Tuesday, July 16, 2013, Prime Minister Stephen Harper trumpets change but keeps senior players in place. Harper brings in new team after scandal. Now, they're gonna push this idea that there was some scandal, right, that made the Prime Minister of Canada have to reshuffle his whole body of people that work with him, right? What we're putting on the table or on the record is that no such a thing took place. Scandal, right? What really happened is that they received Canaanland Moors' claim of right. And our claim of right was basically a document put together by the Moors to send out to the corporate government, so they know our position, right? So I just wanted to give you the CC list so you can see why they're shuffling up, and why all these different people that hold positions in the Canadian government are resigning right now, and all this shuffling is taking place, right? So this was sent out 2011, right? So we have the CC parties, Moorish American National Government Consulate Headquarters, Moorish Science Temple of America, Illinois Republic, and New Jersey Republic. Office of the Secretary of State, Washington, D.C., President Barack Obama, Her Majesty the Queen, Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Premier Dalton McGuinty, who is one of the people that left office 2 years early. Honorable David Onley, Lieutenant Governor. Honorable David Johnston, Governor General. Robert Douglas Nicholson, Attorney General. Rob Ford, the Mayor. William Belair, Chief of Police. Chris Lewis, Commissioner of Ontario Provincial Police. William J.S. Elliott, Commissioner of Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Palais Wilson, High Commissioner, United Nations International Justice Court, The Hague, Netherlands. Eric H. Holder, United States Attorney General. Secretary Ray LaHood. Luis Moreno Ocampo, International Criminal Court, The Hague. Minister Anaid L., Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. Moorish Nation Public Records. Moors Order of the Round Table, Interpol, Lyon, France. Hillary Rodham Clinton, United States Department of State. Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. Right? So based on all that, we have put them on notice of us being here, right? And that position basically is causing a lot of people to basically reconsider being involved with this Canadian fraud that's going on, right? To go further into the fact that there's a big fraud going on here, would-be Canadian citizens set to fight oath to Queen. Now, keep in mind, these are Europeans, right? So these are some Europeans that are fighting, taking an oath to the Queen of Canada, right? A small group of landed immigrants with Republican views who have refused Canadian citizenship because the ceremony involves swearing an oath to the Queen will be in a Toronto courtroom on Friday facing off with the federal government in an attempt to have this citizenship requirement declared unconstitutional. But with a royal baby on the way and a federal government under Prime Minister Stephen Harper that has dedicated itself to reviving the country's connection to the monarchy, restoring the word royal to the Royal Canadian Air Force, among other measures, the dissenters may have their work cut out for them. In court, the federal government is set to argue simply that the immigrants who disagree with the idea of a hereditary head of state and refuse to swear an oath of loyalty do not deserve the benefit of citizenship. Quote, the inability to enjoy the benefits of citizenship, to hold a Canadian passport and to vote are among the costs reasonably borne by individuals whose personal beliefs run contrary to Canada's foundational constitutional structure, a lawyer for the Federal Attorney General says in writing arguments submitted in advance of Friday's hearing. The Toronto lawyer for the people fighting the oath, Peter Rosenthal, said that position was surprising. Quote, the Attorney General has taken the position that if you don't believe in the monarchy, it's appropriate to deny you the right to vote. It's pretty extraordinary given the fact that more than half of Canadians don't believe in the monarchy, right? This is a so-called lawyer talking. Friday's court fight is the latest chapter in more than 20 years of failed legal challenges to the citizenship oath spearheaded by Trinidadian-born Toronto activist and lawyer Charles Roach, who died last year at age 79, never having become a Canadian citizen. Mr. Roach, a longtime friend of Mr. Rosenthal, refused to swear the oath and become a citizen because he believed the Queen was a symbol of imperialism and because of injustices done to his ancestors in the name of the British monarchy. Among the would-be citizens now represented by Rosenthal is Michael McAteer, 79, a longtime Republican who grew up in Ireland but has lived in Canada since 1964. He has never been able to become a citizen because of his refusal to swear the oath. So he's been in Canada since 1964, right? He's not a citizen, but he's here living, right? To show the level of fraud that's going on. Mr. McAteer, a former journalist at the Toronto Star, so he wasn't a citizen and he even had a job at the Toronto Star, which is one of the biggest newspapers in North America, calls the monarchy an anachronistic institution ill-suited to Canada's multicultural society. I obey the law. I've probably seen more of Canada than most Canadians. I've shoveled my sidewalk and, paid taxes, he said. I feel very comfortable here in Canada, but still after all that, I cannot become a Canadian citizen. The legal application in court Friday seeks to have the part of the oath that refers to swearing allegiance to Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada, her heirs and successors, struck down because it violates the protections of freedom of religion and conscience in the Charter of the Rights and Freedoms. The application also argued it violates their freedom of expression by appearing to bar them from agitating for the abolishing of the monarchy, although they acknowledge this would probably never be enforced against them. They also argued the oath is discriminatory because citizens born in the country are not required to swear allegiance to the Queen. One of the applicants, Simon Toppy, is a Rastafarian who, according to a court filing, believes that the Queen is the Queen of Babylon and that swearing the oath would deeply violate her religious belief. But I guess that's Simone Toppy. Another applicant, Dwar Bar Nathan, calls the oath repulsive because she says the Queen is a symbol of inequality. A spokeswoman for the Ministry of Citizenship and Immigration said the government had no plans to change the oath. Quote, Canadian citizenship is an honor and a privilege. Spokeswoman Sonia Lesage said, the government has been working hard to maintain the integrity of the system and to increase the value of Canadian citizenship. Right? So, Canadian citizenship is an honor and a privilege. And we know that, real people, right, living entities have rights. And privileges are given to corporate people. Right? So corporate people have privileges, natural people or living, breathing entities have rights. So majority of our people's position, right, especially in this land, is that they want to get the benefits or they want the privileges that every lawful, rightful Canadian should get. But if they go read the Constitution Act of Canada, which is supposedly the Constitution for Canada, it says that Canada is a democracy. But then when you go to Article 11 of the Articles of Confederation that set up the United States of America, you find out that Canada is mentioned in there, acceding to everything in the Union. And one of the things in the Union that Canada acceded to was the Constitution for the United States of America Republic, in which Article 4, Section 4 says that Canada, or says that a republican form of government is the only form of government that should be exercised by anybody claiming to be government in the jurisdiction of North America, right? So we just want to put that out there so you can see that people are standing up for rights. This is not something that just Moors are doing, right? People in general who are constitutional minded, they take the position that they're going to stand up for rights, and they are, a lot of people are willing to stand up for their life, right? They'll put their life on the line for rights, right? If you speak to them, especially the constitutional people, because they know that, if somebody's willing to violate your rights, then you shouldn't even have them, right? You might as well die if you can't have your rights and exercise your rights, right? One bill that I forgot to put out there, join us in congratulating Autumn Ashanti, who graduates in August 2013 at the top of 15% of her class with honors in math and science. Autumn has been awarded a scholarship to attend the pre-med program at Iona College. As the scholarship does not cover the summer sessions for the next 2 years, we are appealing to our community for support. We want to take this opportunity to thank our friends and family for continuing to inspire our efforts as we stand for education and expanding consciousness. Please make checks and money orders payable to Autumn Ashanti and mailed to 80 Lawn Avenue, Unit 1, Stamford, Connecticut. Your donations will be placed in a custodial account to benefit Autumn's education. You can also go to www.gofundme.com/343HWG. Brilliant, beautiful, and homeschooled. Right? So we just wanted to put that out there. Right? We wanted to put that out there because we know Sister Autumn, we know Brother Batin, and we give that brother high honors for taking the steps necessary to prove that you can homeschool your children, and in homeschooling your children, give them the things that they need so they can still be able to make an impact on society without going to European schools. Right? So big up the family for that. Right? Alright, now let's get to today. Today's class is the revolution will be nationalized. The revolution will be nationalized. Right? And this class was inspired by this Trayvon Martin Zimmerman trial that's been going on, and the not guilty verdict by the 6 European daughters of the American Revolution who took the position to let this guy walk, right? After he killed an innocent brother, right? Now we're not gonna do like all these other people and talk about innocent little black boy and all that crap there, because we don't even play those ones, right? Now, what I want to stress is that, with everything that's going on, right, we want people to understand, right, that we're not certain things. Well, not just, let me don't even say we. Kudro Adwa L has respect for the death of the brother, right? It's unfortunate, but we need to look at this for real. Like, we can't look at this emotional and think that that's a position that we can take. Like, we really have to look at this from a factual perspective to understand what's going on, so that in the future, when these things happen, we have remedy and recourse, and it's not just another situation of us just getting our ass kicked just because we're quote unquote black people, right? So first thing, jury. In practice, a certain number of men, right, selected according to law and sworn to inquire of certain matters of fact and declare the truth upon evidence to be laid before them. This definition embraces the various subdivisions of juries as grand jury, petit jury, common jury, special jury, coroner's jury, sheriff's jury. A jury is a body of men temporarily selected from the citizens of a particular district and invested with power to present or indict a person for a public offense or to try a question of fact. As understood at common law and as used in constitutional provision, jury imports body of 12 men. Jury trial is not merely a trial by 12 men, but by 12 men selected by law, with a judge who passes on many legal questions and has limited supervision over the trial. The right to jury trial guaranteed by federal constitution is the right of trial by jury as it existed at common law. The right to jury trial of converted issues implies a trial by an impartial and qualified jury. The jury trial guaranteed by federal constitution means trial by jury of 12 men in presence and under superintendence of judge empowered to instruct them on the law and advise them on the facts, and except on acquittal of criminal charge, to set aside their verdict if in judge's opinion it is contrary to law of evidence. The terms jury and trial by jury are used in the Constitution, mean 12 competent men, disinterested and impartial, not of kin, nor personal dependents of either of the parties, having their homes within the jurisdictional limits of the court, drawn and selected by officers free from all bias in favor of or against either party, duly paneled and sworn to render a true verdict according to law and evidence. Alright? So the fact that it was women on the jury, fraud, automatically, right? The fact that they were all European, fraud, right? Because the issue at hand, based on, news broadcasts and whatever, they might say whatever, that it was, self-defense and stand your ground or whatever, but it had to deal with race, right? That's what it comes down to, right? Now, in it dealing with race, we have to understand that there's a protocol for the court, right? And the protocol for any court that you go to, no matter what the charges are, no matter what you're facing, right, is the first issue at law is status, right? Which means that anybody that's in that courtroom for that particular trial, they have to put their status on the record, right? Like that's prerequisite, status has to be put on the record, right? If status isn't put on the record, then that's fraud. It's a fraudulent case. It's a fraudulent court case, fraudulent everything, and nothing even has to happen after that, right? So status, standing, state or condition, the legal relation of an individual to the rest of the community, the rights, duties, capacities, and incapacities which determine a person to a given class. A legal personal relationship, not temporary in its nature, nor terminable at the mere will of the parties, with which third parties and the state are concerned. Which term implies relation, it is not a mere relation. It also means estate, because it signifies the condition or circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property. It also means estate, because it signifies the condition or circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property. Right? So because it signifies the condition or circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property, the reason why status was bypassed, right? The reason why, if you go back and check the records of the trial, you'll recognize that nobody in there put their status on the record. Everybody they might have put their name on the record, but they didn't put their status. They didn't put their political allegiance because they're running a democracy. They're running a fraud, and they do not have to put their status on the record because status also means estate. In their case, state, because they get state from estate. They just remove the E and then say state and make that jurisdiction on paper and have everybody think that that's the state. So when they're talking about the jurisdiction that the crime happened, the jurisdiction that the court's in, etc., they say Florida, right? In most cases, they say FL. They don't even say Florida, right? They might say Florida out their mouth, but if you look at the paper, it says FL, which means that that's a state, which means that that's a corporate jurisdiction, which means that that's a plantation. And within that plantation called Florida, because it doesn't say republic attached to it, so that means it's a corporate state. Once you don't see republic attached, automatically that's corporate. So the state of Florida is a plantation. Yo, it's open. It is a plantation, right, that houses property called Negro, Black, colored people. Keep in mind the Bush with the whole voting and throwing out people's votes or whatever in order to win Florida, right? Because everybody knows that our position compared to everybody else in the world, right? We're considered Negro, Black, colored people, right? Yes. What you say? That's good fact. Y'all heard? Yo, you can just pull that door. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's starting to bake up in there.
Heat up to
Yeah, it's starting to bake up in there. Right? So again, status also means estate because it signifies the condition or circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property. Right? Unfortunately, the little brother, Trayvon, was a Martin. And Martin is a European name. And if anybody is Asiatic and they have a European name, that means they're property of the European. No different than if you have, we use the example all the time of, when you were in school as a child and you have your lunchbox and your name's in there because that's your lunchbox. And that's why your name's on it, because that signifies that it's yours.
Your property.
So if your name is on the lunchbox, then that's your property. And then when you go home and you go in the bin, mom goes in the bag and she pulls out the Iron Man lunchbox. When she sent you to school with the Spider-Man lunchbox, right? Somebody's getting licks, right?
Yeah.
Because why you picking up other people's stuff?
Yeah.
Why didn't you look for the name so you know that this is your stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the first issue at law is status, right? So nothing's supposed to be happening until everybody, the jurors, the judge, defense attorney, district attorney, public defender, whoever, attorney, whatever, everybody has to put their status on the record first, before the trial could even go ahead, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason that they don't put their status on the record, because majority of the time it's Martins and Jeffries and Franklins and whatever
Jones,
that are going
Smith.
right that are going into this so-called place called a court.
Yeah.
It's not even a court, because the only court is the Supreme Court.
Yeah, let's not
right?
get in,
That's the only court, Supreme Court.
Yeah.
If the court isn't supreme, then it's fraudulent court. Even if it's federal, it's still fraud.
I agree.
Right? Because the only court is the Supreme Court. Right? So just like if we look at Federal Express can't claim to be government because federal is fraud. There's no, right? It's the highest jurisdiction under the Supreme Court, but it's still fraud because it's not supreme.
Not supreme.
Right? That's why Moors that um, are active, push the idea of put these people on blast internationally to sue them. Don't go
So
to
your country's court.
the court
Your country
to sue these people,
No.
because you're literally going to a criminal to sue a criminal that knows that know everybody's criminal, and they're not gonna throw their boy under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put them on blast, right, by writing down what happened, situation that happened to you, right, going and getting the names of all the people that were involved with it. If you can, see if you can find their pictures, right, put it in written form, and then email it, fax it, or whatever to as many people as you know, just like how we had the list at the beginning, right, that we were talking about putting them on notice of your position. Fax all these offices, all these people. Make some YouTube videos, put it out there, put their names out there, get the word out that these people are running a fraud. That would have more of effect as a suit, right, than you going into a court and saying you're gonna go sue somebody, right? Because once the right people find out that these people are running a fraud, they'll stop insuring them. They'll stop giving them, and then you'll start realizing that they will throw each other under the bus if it comes down to losing your job, right? You know, like they can't take the position of being protected because of their job, right? They don't have that option of being protected because of how they work, right? So keep in mind again that the first issue is status, right? So now let's lay out the parties, right? So who are the parties? The party is George Zimmerman, right? Trayvon Martin, right? His attorney.
Okay, Martin's attorney.
Right, Martin's attorney.
Yeah.
Zimmerman's attorney.
Yeah.
The judge and the jurors. Right, and then everybody who's on the teams of all these people.
Yeah.
So all these people have to put their status on the record. Right, even if Trayvon was alive, right, they would all still have to put their stuff on the record, even though the appearance that they're given is that it's between Zimmerman and Martin, and nobody else is involved in this, because the interaction only happened between them.
Yeah.
But what do? They go out and they both get a lawyer, right? They go out and they both get a lawyer, right? And then the lawyer is gonna demand that they make a plea.
Yep.
Right? The lawyer's gonna make sure that they plead. You have to make some type of plea, right? You can't just go up in there and
say what you
start talking about, well, yeah, I shot him, and you have to make a plea. Like, are you guilty or you're not guilty or whatever, right? Okay. In propria persona, in one's own proper person. It is a rule in pleading, right? It is a rule in pleading. So there's rules for pleading.
Yeah.
Right? Pleading's not just go up there and just say, yeah, I'm guilty or I'm innocent. Like, there's rules that govern pleading.
Yeah, there's
right?
an order.
Okay.
There's
some order
of operation to it.
So it is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in propria persona. So pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in one's own proper person. Right? Zimmerman was able to plead not guilty because he's improper person. Right? One, because his name is Zimmerman, which is a Jewish name, so he has certain authority because Jews, the Jesuits rule the world.
Yeah.
Right? The Zionists, they control everything with regard to courts and all that. Right? So he won automatically just by his name being Zimmerman. He's off. Right? All right. Second part of it, right? His dad is ex-judge. So he won there again.
He's already in the loop.
He's already in right? Like
he's in that.
Yeah, in that circle.
You know what I mean?
He's in that lodge.
He's,
right?
You know what
that
I mean?
that he's gonna be privileged.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When he turned himself in, right? First time, after when they were hunting for him or whatever like that and all that in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
When he finally said, okay, I'm going to turn myself in or whatever, he turned himself in and he jumped out of a white Beamer. Right? So,
indicator how this is going to go.
Right? They're letting you know how it's going to go from the start.
Jumped out of white Beamer.
Jumped out of white Beamer. Like 700 series.
So you know he's back.
So you know he's backed, right? Okay.
It's just you know,
now,
Beamer, Germany, Judaism.
Right? Okay. So he has all the odds are in his favor, right? Okay. Right? All the odds are in his favor. Right?
Removal of Judge Lester.
Yeah.
Okay,
right?
can we?
Yeah. Right. I was just showing the paper because
Yeah, no, I just saw
that.
Because I'm assuming Kenneth R. Lester is not the lady that was on the.
No.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
You let 6 white women go be the jurors. You didn't pull none of those jurors out. But you kicked off the white guy who was judging it, and then you put a white lady up there too.
Right. So how come they removed Judge Lester?
I want to hear this.
In July 2012, Zimmerman's lawyer filed a motion to disqualify Judge Kenneth R. Lester. O'Mara said Judge Lester had made disparaging and gratuitous remarks about his client in a July 12th bond order. The defense said the judge's statement that he believes Zimmerman had misled the court at his first hearing indicates bias against the party and would impact Zimmerman's ability to get a fair trial. The state critic, now keep in mind, right? Zimmerman's lawyer is gonna file a motion to disqualify Judge Kenneth R. Lester, right? Because his bias against Zimmerman is going to impact Zimmerman's ability to get a fair trial, right? But how come Trayvon Martin's lawyer didn't file a motion
to get that judge out of there?
Not even to get the judge out of there,
or to
but
get this
to make sure everybody puts their status on the record first. How come status gets bypassed, right? By Martin's side, right? Who knows how much grand they gave him, right? But Zimmerman's lawyer was intelligent enough, astute enough to recognize that there's a bias, which means that Zimmerman isn't going to get a fair trial, which means that they're denying him due process because you have to be able to have a fair trial, right? And a sliver of bias is enough
to say something,
to make sure that he doesn't get a fair trial, especially with this judge or whatever. But why is it that what was the judge getting at, right? What was the judge getting at, right?
Whether you like O'Mara or not, whether you like George's defense, I don't like George's defense, but they know how to play the game though. They know how to play the game.
They knew what they were doing from the start. They knew what
they were well ready.
Yeah,
and they knew how to play it.
Especially when they brought in that sister, right?
Even after the verdict, they still know how to play it.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Especially when they brought in the sister, and then then they have the people, and then they draw the circle around her. Who is this girl? Nobody knows who this girl is or whatever. And then getting that emotional thing running, because automatically, as soon as the dumb niggers see the sister in there, automatically they're going for the race thing. Oh, how could she be on that side? Why is she on that side of the fence? She's against her people or whatever. When that's nothing to do. She's an intern. She's not even a lawyer. She's practicing. She's not a lawyer. She doesn't have no.
I know who you're talking about.
She doesn't even.
That was on the defensive side.
Yeah, she's nobody.
Yeah, she was just there.
She was just there. She was just there. So what does that mean? That means she was a pawn. That means she was a pylon.
Yeah.
Just to draw attention away from whatever's going on with the trial.
And don't think that these guys didn't say, "Hey, go get me a black intern."
Exactly.
Go get me an Afro-American female of an intern.
Who, when they interviewed her, admitted that, well, being that I'm African American and all that type of stuff, pushing that same fraud to get the emotional stimulation response from the people, right? So they knew what they were doing from the start, right? The state criticized the motion for citing facts that are inaccurate, misleading, or incomplete. And don't forget, we still have to read the in propria persona, right? Yeah. All this is tying in with the in propria persona, right? On August 1st, Judge Lester ruled that he would not recuse himself, stating that the defendant's motion was denied for being legally insufficient. Zimmerman's attorney filed an appeal on August 12th with a Florida appeals court to reconsider a ruling by Judge Lester, refusing to step down from the case.
Lester refuses to. Like, I'm not coming off with it.
He's not coming off, right? Which means that, that stand your ground and all that crap was
not going to fly.
Wasn't going to fly.
Yeah. And they knew
right, and they knew it wasn't going to fly, so they had to get the judge who was going to fight them out the way, so they can actually input their friend judge, to make sure everything goes in order.
Zimmerman's team won this. The moment they got that judge out, they won. It was won or lost before it started.
Yep.
Because it was based on the judge.
The judge, right? And then remember, in a jury trial, the judge is neutral. He has no say.
No say.
It's all about what the jury says. And the only way that the only way that the judge can make a decision on the jury is if it's
deadlock.
If he's playing neutral, if he's playing the deciding.
Okay, 3-3 and on the 7,
and he's the one that has to make the decision.
4-3 vote.
Right. That's why they had 6 of them.
But
that in case it went that way, then they have their friend judge to bump it. Onto the side of
trump it up
to the not guilty. Right. So from the start it was shut case from the start. Right. On August 29th, 2012, the 5th District Court of Appeals granted the petition for a new judge for Zimmerman. On October 30th, 2012, Judge Deborah Nelson, who has been on the bench for 13 years, right? So now you're dealing with the whole numbers code and who's who in this whole thing, and right? So Deborah Nelson was on the bench for 13 years, and she was the one that got the call, right? Florida Circuit Judge Kenneth R. Lester issued an order granting George Zimmerman bail in the amount of $1 million. The order states that Zimmerman must wear a satellite tracking device, not open any new bank accounts, not consume alcohol, and obey a curfew between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. While the judge granted Zimmerman bond, he had some especial harsh words for Zimmerman in the full order. A summary along with some of the more damaging quotes from the order can be read below. In the first bail hearing, Zimmerman allowed his wife to testify that the couple had very limited funds to pay the bill, which led the judge to set bail at $150,000. Right? So initially, it wasn't a million first. It was $150,000 first, right? However, subsequent jailhouse conversations between Zimmerman and his wife revealed that they actually had access to over $155,000 at the time. Right? Zimmerman's defense attorney tried to excuse this deception by portraying his client as the victim, but Judge Lester clearly did not buy that argument.
And right off the bat, once you're lying, you and your wife, because apparently your wife can't go on the court and lie on you, right? You're supposed to be able to tell her in trust, whatever, like a doctor, like a lawyer. Right. And it's bullshit because these two are lying in the courtroom, like, yo, don't worry. I know we have more money, but don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Shut up. Right? Don't tell them that. You know, I know. Don't worry, we're gonna get out of here. Right. But you're in their court. You're in their box.
In their box.
So the microphone.
Like and
the judge wasn't gonna have that shit.
So Judge Lester, quote, under any definition, the defendant flaunted the system. Counsel has attempted to portray the defendant as being a confused young man who was fearful and experienced a moment of weakness, and who may also have acted out of a sense of betrayal by the system. Based upon all the evidence presented, this court finds the opposite. The defendant has attempted to manipulate the system when he has been presented the opportunity to do so. He is an ally by every legal definition. Trayvon Martin is the only male whose youth is relevant to this case. Judge Lester also makes clear that he believes George Zimmerman was the primary actor in the couple's scheme to hide money from authorities. Contrary to the image presented by the defendant, not by evidence but only by the argument of counsel, right? It appears to this court that the defendant is manipulating the system to his own benefit. The evidence is clear that the defendant and his wife acted in concert, but primarily at the defendant's direction to conceal their cash holdings. Right. So all this is evidence to throw away the key on him.
Yeah.
Right. Contempt of court, all that. Because if a brother, right, go in there and he has some driving whatever. You know what I mean? Well, it wasn't my license. I borrowed the car from my friend, and then they find out that it's his car. That's contempt of court. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Period. So.
Right. But now you see why they had to get the judge out of the way.
Because they knew that he was going to deal with him.
Perhaps most shocking, Judge Lester states that Zimmerman may have been able to flee the country with a significant amount of cash, if not for the GPS tracking device he had on him after his first bail hearing. The defendant neglected to disclose that he had a valid second passport in his safe deposit box.
For Peru. His mother's Peruvian, maybe.
Probably. They didn't say to where, but probably.
He has a second one.
Right? Notably, together with the passport, the money only had to be hidden for a short time for him to leave the country if the defendant made the quick decision to flee. Despite all but calling Zimmerman a liar, the judge still granted Zimmerman a new, though more expensive and restrictive bail by applying the standard for bail under Florida's common law. Right?
Wow.
So that was the first miscarriage of justice
of this case.
Of this case.
And this case has a lot of boofs where it's just like
right. Getting the judge who maybe gave his ass the chair or whatever out the way.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Marco Mara, Zimmerman defense.
Rotten motherfucker.
Right. Marco Mara. This interesting surname, recorded in the spellings of Mara, Maro, Omera, and Omara, has a number of possible origins. Without the prefix O, it can be either English or Irish. And if English, most name holders will derive from the biblical female name Mara, meaning bitter. Right? And first recorded in the book of Ruth.
Okay.
Right? Ruth is a Moabite.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know what Jolly says, Moors are Moabites, and right? This name was introduced into England by Crusaders, returning from the various expeditions to free the Holy Land in the 11th and 12th centuries. Mara was very popular as a baptismal name with the early Protestants and later Puritans. The second origin source is the anglicized form of the Gaelic surname Omedra. This translates as the descendants of the Merry One, from the ancient word Medhar, meaning merry and happy, to the first, meaning merry and applying to the first chief of the clan. Right?
So that's like the chief's wife for...
Right, the first chief of the clan. Right? Now Mara, Sanskrit, Tibetan, Burmese, Thai. In Buddhism, is the demon that tempted Gautama Buddha by trying to seduce him with the visions of beautiful women who in various legends are often said to be Mara's daughters. In Buddhist cosmology, Mara personifies unwholesome impulses, unskillfulness, the death of the spiritual life. He is a tempter, distracting humans from practicing the spiritual life by making mundane things alluring or the negative seem positive. Right?
That's
that's where it comes with bringing in the sister in.
And that's what his role is.
Distract the people. His whole demeanor. His whole...
Man, when you talking like, bro, come on, really?
You're trying to run down what I mean?
And he tries to stay real calm
right.
and real soft and real fucking,
He's the
provocateur, man.
Right? The early Buddhists, however, rather than seeing Mara as demonic, virtually all-powerful lord of evil, regarding him as more of a nuisance. Right? When you look at him, you hear him talk.
Yeah.
This guy just
And
gets on your nerves.
He's
just a nuisance.
He's more of the nuisance.
Right? Omara.
Oh, is this judge gonna hang my client? Okay, you know what?
Right?
I'm gonna get rid of this judge. Well, he must be that's nuisance.
Right? Nuisance. Right? Many episodes concerning his interactions with the Buddha have been decidedly humorous air to them. In traditional Buddhism, 4 senses of the word Mara are given. Klesa Mara, or Mara as the embodiment of all unskillful emotions. Murtu Mara, or Mara as death in the sense of the ceaseless round or birth and death. Skanda Mara, or Mara as metaphor for the entirety of conditioned existence. And Devaputra Mara, or Mara the son of a Deva, God, that is, Mara as an objectively existent being rather than as a metaphor. Early Buddhism acknowledged both a literal and psychological interpretation of Mara. Mara is described both as an entity having a literal existence, just as the various deities of the Vedic pantheon are shown existing around the Buddha, and also is described as a primarily psychological force. Right? This man fits the.
And yeah, it's disgusting the way he's that guy.
A metaphor for various processes of doubt and temptation that obstruct spiritual practice. Etymology of Mara. Right? So it even goes deeper than what we're right. Right. So etymology of Mara. A mar, or a mare, or nightmare. Proto-Germanic maran, Old English more, M-O-E-R-E, Old Norse mara, German nachmar, M-A-H-R, Dutch nachmeri, Swedish mara, Icelandic mara, Faroese mara, Danish mer, Norwegian mer mara, Proto-Slavic mara, meaning ghost, is an evil spirit or goblin in Germanic folklore which rides on people's chests while they sleep, bringing on bad dreams or nightmares. The mare is attested as early as in the Norse Ynglinga saga from the 13th century, but the belief itself is likely to be considerably older, as in English the name appears in the word for nightmare in the Nordic languages. Example, the Swedish word mardrum, literally meaning Mara dream, the Norwegian word marit, and the Danish maridit, also meaning maride, or the Icelandic word maru, meaning Mara dreaming rapidly. The mare is often similar to the mythical creatures succubus and incubus, and was likely inspired by sleep paralysis. And what is his purpose when he goes up there and talk? Paralyze your ass into not even thinking about what's going on. He just bore your ass.
No, the thing, he'll go up there and you'll look at him. He'll say 2 words and you're just like, oh, I don't like this guy. You're just in a different.
Everybody, right?
Your tunnel vision. You don't hear what he's saying. You're looking at him and you're just like, I don't like this guy. I don't like.
His vibe just sucks.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. But he messes with your
exactly. He messes
attention.
with your vibe.
You're not focused. You're not paying attention.
Exactly, which is what the point is.
Open the door.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Someone's coming.
Yeah, right. Which is what the point is, right? So they knew what they were. They knew what they were dealing with. You know what I mean? They weren't playing around. So after this thing goes down now, so we already knew that this man was supposed to get off. Mate, yes, I see you smiling. What's up? Right? So after this thing goes down now, right, and this man gets, the walk of fame, right? Based on everything that we, just went through, we already know this man's gonna walk, right? Man had the freaking nightmare lawyer, working for him, right? Defense attorney or whatever, right?
Yeah, he had the Zimmerman name.
He had the sister there to get everybody's attention, distracted from, you know what I mean? He had the Zimmerman name. Yep. He had the fiat that he saved from the, you know, that his the wife. He had the passport. His dad was a judge, whatever. So this man made it, right? He had it made from the start, right? So after all this now, so the thing comes out now that, you know what? Not guilty. Forget it. Let's see if we can, you know, kick off this race war, right? Right? Get all these Negroes up here mad and get them starting to exercise things and do things and, you know, Rodney King riot style, right? This jackass now comes out, Akon.
Oh, what did he say? I didn't hear what he said.
Akon says we should move back to Africa.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Right.
Of course, the African's gonna say that thing, eh?
So, while Lupe Fiasco was busy sounding off on Black America and shaming us for not valuing ourselves, a popular African artist was offering a different perspective. Akon took to Instagram immediately after the not guilty verdict was read in Zimmerman's trial and suggested that blacks move back to Africa. According to, remember, this is the guy, right? One who bowled a 12-year-old girl or whatever, some preacher's daughter in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Say, oh, I didn't know that she was 12 or whatever, right? And two, his thing is called convict music.
Yeah, he's a convict.
All right?
Still more too.
So he's in America, right? But he's from Senegal. And he's telling black people, we should go back to Africa. Right?
You're from Africa.
Yeah. Right? He's the only one from there, but he's trying to tell everybody, let's go back so we can escape racism or whatever, right? Foolishness, right? Quote, every African American, right? So he's playing the side, don't forget,
African American.
He's playing the side of the intern. She said you were African American.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So now he's playing that side now. Right? Even though he's mad at the verdict that she was on the side that got the not guilty, he's gonna still go and connect himself to her by calling himself the same thing that she called herself. Right? Every African American in the United States, right? Not the United States of America, not the United States of America Republic, but the United States, which are private, foreign, European corporation. Right? Every African American in the United States need to move their money. Right? None of these people don't have no gold and silver or whatever, so they have no money. Family, knowledge, back to Africa, where you will be treated like the royalty you are.
Will I though?
Right? Now, if we're gonna move back there to be treated like the royalty that we are, right? How come it takes a Zimmerman not guilty verdict
to do that?
To go back there? How come
you wouldn't just say?
How come the people over there didn't say, hey, Bush or Obama? You guys are part of the private corporate construct that took these people from here. We demand that you send them back. Or if we go back, since that's our home, right? How come they don't deport us back there when we commit crimes? Why they put us in jail? Why don't they just send us back to where we come from? If we're from there, why don't they just send us back where we come from? They do that with everybody else who commits a crime here.
If you're from
another country, you're going back to where you come from. How come they don't do that?
If I'm an African American, I must be from Africa. I'm African first, right?
Right.
So if I commit something.
Now he's saying, right? Now remember, he's saying we should move back to Africa, right? But then his next quote is that you don't deserve this treatment. This is not your country.
You don't deserve this.
Yeah, the treatment of getting your ass shot up by some guy and then thing getting losing the case or whatever, and then now you're stuck, right?
Well, right on. He's right on. You don't deserve this treatment. On, this is not your country part is kind of
Yeah.
misconstrued. That's
Right.
a little off.
Right, and then there was like, a bunch of them, right?
Everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah, everybody got something to say about damn trial, right? Reef the Lost Cause, whoever that guy is, right? I'm getting the F out of here. My son is marked for death. This is effing bullshit. I feel sick. Right? Maybach Music Group artists Meek Mill and Wale both compared Zimmerman's verdict to NFL star Michael Vick's 2007 case, which landed him in prison for 2 years for dogfighting. Michael Vick didn't go to jail for dogfighting.
He went to jail for...
He went to jail for conspiracy.
He tried to lie in the thing.
Right? It wasn't dogfighting. There's no crime
for dogfighting.
There's nothing in the books that dogfighting is a crime. He went to jail go check the records. He went to jail for conspiracy, which shows that right now, and all this is public record, right? Which shows that these people are incompetent. They obviously don't know what the hell's going on, right? They're just talking out of what emotionalism.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
Right? That's all. True too. They're talking out of emotionalism, right? Jim Jones.
Oh, what did Jimmy say?
I guess we all understand what kind of world we live in, especially when a grown man kills a child and gets away with it. It's a sad day in USA, whatever, right? Now, if you go to every single nationality on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Everybody except Negro, Black, Color people. When you're 13, you're adult. Because you have rites of passage. Whether they tell you to jump off something or go swim across that alligator river or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Whatever. When you're 13, you're adult.
Yeah.
You're a man at 13. You're a woman at 13. Right? We're the only ones that play this game, but, 17, 18, 19, 20. Like right now they have the out here, a youth is a 29-year-old. This is on the books out here.
It doesn't make sense.
For at-risk communities that need to get grant money, whatever, and we want to help youth. The criteria is 13 to 29 or 15 to 29 or something like that. As youth, 29 years old is a youth.
A 10-year-old is a youth, and you're kind of discluding. You're discluding the younger, and then you're giving it to the older.
Giving it to the older ones.
It's kind of
right. Okay. Right, but that all of that is going into King Alfred Plan, and us being the minority because we're minors in our thinking, because we think that Michael Vick went to prison for 2 years for dogfighting.
Yeah, and it wasn't a dogfighting.
It wasn't a dogfighting issue, right? Nicki Minaj pointed out taxpayers foot the bill for the trial. And our taxes paid for that trial. We just paid to see a murderer walk free after killing an innocent unarmed little boy. There we go again with the whole little boy thing, right? But I bet you if Trayvon Martin would have shot Buddy in his face because he had a concealed weapon,
he would have been
an adult. He would have been adult.
Yeah, gone in trial as an adult.
He would have been right. He wouldn't have been no boy that did anything to anybody. It would have been adult. That did it.
And that's true.
Right?
And that's true as well.
That's what would have happened. Right? Twister, I'm speechless, not guilty. A child is dead and this nigga gonna walk. Right? All 2 Chains. I'm in Switzerland and I heard the terrible news about the verdict of the trial. Right? Now, new Black Panther Party declares war.
Oh, that's their declaration, eh?
That's their declaration after the verdict, right? So the George Zimmerman verdict is a declaration of war that only the devil can applaud, according to a Twitter feed from New Black Panther Party. The Twitter account managed by the group's national chairman, Malik Zulu Shabazz, further urged followers to take to the streets and stay there. "We're at war," Shabazz tweeted. "It's silly and immoral to call for peace when war has been declared." The NBPP slammed what it called the white man's justice system, claiming the courts based their law on the white is right theory. Right? Why is white right? White is right because it includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps and Finns, and the Basque and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European races. So white,
Indo-European.
yeah. So white has nothing to do with Caucasian race, who these guys are saying is system it is. Aryan race, who these guys are saying the system it is, or Indo-European race. Because white and black are statuses, have nothing to do with people's skin complexion. So them going out and pushing this now, right, is complete fraud, right? Now, but why are they pushing this, right? Why is it that this is their position, right? A little background information. Malik Zulu Shabazz, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. His father, James Lewis, was a Muslim who was killed under mysterious circumstances when Shabazz was a child. He credits his mother, who became a successful businesswoman, and his grandfather, who introduced him to the Nation of Islam, as strong influences. Shabazz graduated from Howard University and Howard University School of Law. In 1995, while he was a law student, Shabazz ran an unsuccessful campaign for a seat in Washington, D.C. In 1996, Shabazz founded Black Lawyers for Justice. When Khalid Abdul Muhammad died unexpectedly in February 2001, Shabazz was disconsolate. "I was beyond hurt," said Shabazz. "I was devastated. I was crushed. He was so strong. He was so beautiful. He was so brilliant." Now, if he was so beautiful and so brilliant and he was so strong, and he said that, "I'm a Moor," how come these guys still calling stuff black? If they honor him so much, if they care about him so much, and he was so beautiful to them, how come he came out of his mouth and said, "I'm a Moor, and I got sense enough to know that I'm a Moor, and I'm not Kunta Kinte, I didn't come here on a slave ship," or whatever? Right?
So Malcolm X and NOI.
Exactly, right? On another occasion, Shabazz said in a tribute to his late mentor, "I could never thank God enough for a bold, bald-headed black man." Khalid wasn't no black man. He said that he's a Moor.
But they still with that,
right?
Yeah.
This is hypocrisy.
Yeah, the way the description.
Right? How are you gonna call the man the black man after he came out on the public record and said that I'm a Moor?
Two different statuses.
Two different statuses.
Two different standings.
So Khalid freed himself.
For a national.
Right? So Khalid freed himself, and then these people who say they honor him denationalize him and put him back in the status of a slave. Right? "Black man who taught me what I know, and I come in his spirit today, in what seems to be walking in his footsteps." This is no different than all these so-called Moors talking about their reincarnated Noble Drew Ali, and you need to follow us because, you know, the prophet, I had a crescent and star in my eye, you know, so I'm the prophet, and I'm sitting in the Noble Drew Ali's seat right now, so now I'm the prophet, so you guys have to honor me.
I can go to bed and wake up and say I had a dream
tomorrow.
Now,
right?
Rob's Noble Drew.
Right. And I was following you or whatever.
So forth.
Right? Okay. uncompromising and fearless. The enemy didn't like him, but I love him, the minister and Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. With Muhammad gone, Shabazz took the reins of NBPP and relocated the organization's headquarters from New York to Washington, D.C. Now, he's going to take the new Black Panther Party headquarters from New York,
and put it in
New York, which is the Empire State, the state of the empire, Moroccan Empire.
Yeah. So
right?
why wouldn't you stay?
And he's going to go put it in the jurisdiction of the U.S., which District of Columbia is a private,
it's like a
European jurisdiction, just like the Vatican and whatever like that, right? Keep in mind that he also won or was named some lawyer of the year or something like that coming out of law school. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's go back to in propria persona now.
Okay.
Right? It is a rule in pleading that pleas to the jurisdiction of the court must be pled in propria persona, because if pleaded by an attorney, they admit the jurisdiction, as an attorney is an officer of the court and he is presumed to have pleaded after having obtained leave which admits the jurisdiction. An attorney is an officer of the court. Right? Now, according to Black Panther Party, right, the justice system is the white man's. Right? Okay, so if the justice system is the white man's and Malik Zulu Shabazz is an attorney is the officer of the court, and the court is controlled by the justice system, doesn't that mean he's down with the white man? Doesn't that mean he's an agent for the white man?
If you say I want to be a lawyer,
if you say that I want to be a lawyer and you have a bar card for the same justice system that you're cussing at,
well, where's the sense in that? Right?
Where's the sense in that? Right? What's the purpose of that position? To swindle people into thinking that they can be black and Negro and whatever and get rights. Right? When it's completely a fraudulent position. Just being a lawyer alone is a fraudulent position, because I self-law a master if you're a Moor.
Yeah, I self-law master. So
you don't need no bar card.
No.
Right? But none of those people in, Black Panther Party, new Black Panther Party, is gonna have a law dictionary and ask, why is an officer of the court the head of our organization?
If you don't like this organization,
if you don't like
the court
system, the justice system, whatever, how is this guy?
You put him in charge.
The head. And then not only is he head, he took the jurisdiction out of the people's hand and put it in the hands of the same people who they're saying the white man killed a cracker or whatever in Washington, D.C. Fraud. Right? And then they're going to declare war. Right? The NBP's official platform states, "The white man has kept us deaf, dumb, and blind." Refers to the white racist government of America. Demands black people be exempt from military service, and uses the word Jew repeatedly in quotation marks. Shabazz has led racially divisive protests and conferences, such as the Million Youth March, in which a few thousand Harlem youths reportedly were called upon to scuffle with police officers and speakers demanding the extermination of whites in South Africa. The NBP chairman was quoted at a May 2007 protest against the 400-year celebration of the settlement of Jamestown, Virginia, stating, "When the white man came here, you should have left him to die."
So what is that? Think about
so hold on a second.
Think about what that means.
When the white
so
guy
hold on a second. When the white guy came here,
We should have left him to.
we should have left him to die.
We should have. kind of indicating we were here and we helped him.
And we helped him.
We were here first.
So if we were here first, right, and the white man came here and saw us here, right, and we helped him instead of leaving him to die, isn't that's apparent contradiction in their argument that we're black people? If we were here, obviously we're indigenous people, right? But again, Negro, black, colored people, they don't think, they don't read, right? So they don't know what the hell's going on, which is why they're incompetent, which is why they're labeled minority, and people take advantage of them, and they can go shoot somebody and walk.
Yeah.
Right? How much people could shoot somebody and walk when they know, like, everybody knows there's no, there's no argument
that he did it, but he could still walk. He could still walk.
He did it.
Something up.
But he's still walking. Right? And then these guys are going to come out and say war. Right? War on the white man system or whatever. Go in the streets and so
whatever. But the white man done been putting war on you.
Right? So let's play advocate, right? And say, all right, cool. You know what? Yeah. Let's take that position.
Okay.
Let's take that position of, you know what? Let's go into the streets. Right? Because this is BS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These guys have been taking advantage of us for so long. Everybody, you know what I mean? You have a constitutional right to bear arms, right? So go get your arms, right? And meet me at the whatever, and let's go deal with these guys' cases right now. Let's kick it off right now, right? All right. So let's kick it off, right? Now when we kick it off, right? This is why we're saying that the revolution, right? The revolution will be nationalized. Because the most revolutionary thing that you can do is proclaim your nationality and leave these freaking people alone.
Yeah.
And focus on building up your mental capacity so you can know how to fight them. Because notice, no wars happen here.
No wars don't happen on this actual continent. Eternal island, it doesn't go down.
Doesn't happen here.
It doesn't go down.
But the wars that happen in other places is because it's the people fighting the governments that are corrupt. So hold on a second.
Passive.
So other places,
passive.
yeah, right. So other places, war is the people fighting corrupt government, and here no war happens here.
No. So we're not. We're
right, which means that
accepting of the corrupt government.
We're chilling, right? So I was having a discussion with a veteran of Desert Storm, right?
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with him, right? And then this was his message that he sent.
Oh, this bottom half.
Yeah, this bottom half right here.
He sent.
Right? Yeah,
not a public thing. He sent it.
Yeah, like he sent it to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Because being that he's veteran.
Yeah, he's
been
in there.
He's been in there. He knows what's,
Yeah.
If we're gonna say, okay, let's go get arms and let's go kill the cracker, we might want to consider some things before we go and kill crackers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Just to, right? There are so many types of weapons. I could go on and on with this as an example. The above list doesn't even cover the kind of heavy munitions that change the landscape, like 500-pound bombs, bunker busters, multiple launch rocket systems, howitzers, and even mortars. Here are some of what you'll find after doing a few searches. Moving on. I really don't think people understand what kind of trauma results from fighting in urban warfare when you're faced with a force that has billions of dollars worth of tanks, trucks, planes, munitions, and soldiers. I would strongly recommend to people, please look at what has been going on around the world and stop watching the boob tube programming so much. I'm a veteran of Desert Storm. I know what it sounds like when .51 bullets are moving past you and impacting the dirt at your feet. To hear artillery impacting above your head and on the ground. I know what a TOW missile can do to an armored personal carrier or truck full of people. I know what 125mm high explosive incendiary tracer round does to the human body. I know what a T-72 looks like after it's been hit by a 120 millimeter armor-piercing, fin-discarding sabot round. Whatever the hell that is.
That just sounds,
Right?
sounds mean.
Please remember, we are not discussing nuclear, biological, chemical, air support, drones, satellite technologies, etc. Right? So we're not even talking
We're
about
not talking
the one button stuff.
Yeah, those
We're
ones.
talking about urban warfare
the stuff
on the ground, right? That these people are saying that, yeah, let's just get our guns, our Glocks, our AK-47s, and let's go kill crackers.
Unless you have tank stuff that they
Right?
got in the Desert Storm, you need that to fight urban warfare.
From another perspective, I believe it is foolish to not respect the level of efficiency displayed in our so-called enemy's ability to obtain power, whether it was right or wrong. A military-minded person must point this out, if no other. A few examples of weapons used against crowds. Right? So this is what they got.
What they're working.
This is what they have, right? And another thing that he was talking about was surveillance, right? That the level of surveillance that these people have, you're not even going to be able to go meet nowhere to go do anything. Because they have your computer tapped. They have your, what's the man we were talking about last week? Eric?
Snowden. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff Snowden's talking about, he was talking about those stuff, but like not even what he's talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like, yo, like,
some next
crazy,
level.
next level.
Some James Bond
type of,
kind
Minority Report freaking surveillance type stuff, right? What they have right now, that they're using right now, people don't know about, right? Active denial system.
Sounds funny.
It just sounds like something, right? Active denial system. Non-lethal directed energy weapon. Developed by the U.S. military. Designed for area denial, perimeter security, and crowd control. Informally, the weapon is also called the heat ray, since it works by heating the surface of targets, such as the skin of targeted human subjects. Raytheonis, currently marketing a reduced range version of this technology. The ADS was deployed in 2010 with the United States military in Afghanistan war, but has withdrawn without seeing combat. Right? So majority of the time when they go to war, they're going out to war to go test stuff, to bring it back here and then just hold it here for when certain stuff kicks off. Then they bring out their active denial systems or whatever. Right? The ADS is currently only a vehicle-mounted weapon. Though U.S. Marines and police are both working on portable versions, ADS was developed under the sponsorship of the DOD Non-Lethal Weapons Program with the Air Force Research Laboratory as the lead agency. There are reports that Russia is developing its own version of the active denial system. The ADS works by firing a high-powered beam of 95 gigahertz, extremely high frequency waves at a target, which corresponds to a wavelength of 3.2 millimeters. The ADS millimeter wave energy works on a similar principle as a microwave oven, exciting the water and flat molecules in the skin and instantly heating them via dielectric heating. One significant difference is that a microwave oven uses much lower frequency and longer wavelength of 2.45 gigahertz. The short millimeter waves used in ADS only penetrate the top layers of skin, with most of the energy being absorbed within 0.44 millimeters, whereas microwaves will penetrate into human tissue about 17 millimeters. The ADS repel effect in humans occurs at slightly higher than 44 degrees Celsius or 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Though first degree burns occur at about 51 degrees Celsius, the second degree burns occurs at about 58 degrees Celsius. In testing, pea-sized blisters have been observed in less than 0.1 of ADS exposures, indicating that second-degree surface burns have been caused by the device. The radiation burns caused are similar to, right, whatever, right? So you're going to be out there getting ready
to
go fight somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they have
Star Trek. There's some next level thing.
They have this out there.
It looks like a flat plate.
And they just turn this on and fry you.
Yeah, some Mickey D's.
Right now, this is also for all those people who talk crap about, when Moors bring up King Alfred plan, right? Just so you could, all right. So this is the ADS, right? When Moors bring up King Alfred plan, and we go to the part where it says, Zero Committee report. Survey shows that during a 6-year period, production created 9 million objects, or 1,500,000 each year. Production could not dispose of the containers, which proved a bottleneck. However, that was almost 20 years ago. We suggest that vaporization techniques be employed to overcome the production problems inherent in King Alfred. We suggest vaporization techniques be employed. All right.
Production process.
In the production process.
So are like the people the thing they're producing? Like
okay, so
we're gonna vaporize the people?
Yeah, basically.
So because
Q.S
is a corporation. The people become products. They're no longer actual.
All right. So let's go back a little bit,
citizens
right?
or people.
So King Alfred plan was from 1969, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying 20 years ago. So in 49, right? There was these production problems that could not dispose of containers, which proved the bottleneck. Right? So what they're talking about is during Germany or whatever, when they were exterminating Jews, who were us, right? They had so much bodies left over from the burning of whatever that it proved a bodyneck.
So now
because you can only burn so much.
You're gonna have to vaporize this.
Right. The ashes are gonna clog up the steam stuff. Right? The chimney is not gonna work too good. Right? So in order to eliminate that process, they're just gonna vaporize people. That way you don't have any evidence of
vapor.
It's just vapor.
Yeah.
Right? So to start the vaporization process, right? While you're out there protesting, marching, whatever, doing the crap that black people do, right? They have this thing running, boiling you, radiating you or whatever.
You don't even know.
You don't even know until you start feeling your skin burning. And also too, make sure you go on YouTube because they got everything's documented, right? They got the stuff on there. So just go on the tube, go look up the ADS, right? Go look up the active denial system tests.
ADS.
Right?
Denial.
Where they show
system tests. They actually show
them using it on people.
Person.
Yeah. And they show people's reaction. Now they could call it acting or whatever, whatever. But I don't think those people are acting or whatever when they're talking about how they felt when they turned on this thing.
Really?
And they didn't even put it to
full blast.
Full blast.
Yeah. Just a sample piece.
Just a little sample piece, just to let you know what I mean? This is what we're doing or whatever.
This is what
right?
We're working
people
with.
running from this thing. Huh? Right? Right, so they have that unlocked. Right? So and if they, and me and this brethren DN, right, we were talking about how all these rappers or whatever say that they're millionaires go broke if they go buy army. Go buy army.
Yeah.
Go buy a tank. Go buy a drone. How much money you have left over after of all that $1 million that you say you have?
None.
Right? Go buy something that they have. Go buy a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Tell me how much money you have after. Tell me if you could even afford it.
Yeah.
But you have money though. You balling. You know what I'm saying? Right?
You're not balling.
Laser blinding dazzler. Whatever. Right? Just Google all this stuff because it's not nothing that they don't have stuff showing you what this is.
Laser
right?
blinding.
Laser blinding dazzler.
Sounds
right?
like a child's toy.
Yeah, it does. The personal halting and stimulation response rifle.
What?
Right? The personal halting and stimulation response rifle, or phaser. PHASER. PHASR. Phaser is a massive laser shooter Phaser technology is being co-funded by the National Institute of Justice. Bet you didn't know that exists.
By the National
Institute of Justice.
So Institute of
Justice. This is a government corporation.
Thinks that they need to make some super.
The National Institute of Justice. That's no different than Social Security Administration buying hollow point bullets.
Yeah.
Right? Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Program and the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and is being developed by the Air Force Research Laboratory. So what is the purpose of this light shooting toy? Well, it won't kill you, but it will temporarily blind you. Or as the NIJ prefers to say, it will dazzle you into disorientation by shooting you with 2 low-power diode pumped lasers. The blinding laser protocol of the United Nations Convention on Conventional Weapons. So you're going to go check that out, right? The United Nations Convention on Conventional Weapons. They actually had a convention on conventional weapons. Right? Oh yeah. And just so we could conventional weapons generally refer to weapons that are relatively wide use and are not weapons of mass destruction.
Okay. Conventional weapons.
Conventional weapons.
A knife, a bat, a gun. Well, those will kill, but it's not something like on a mat, like
nuclear, basically.
Yeah.
So the United Nations Convention on Conventional Weapons states the use of laser weapons that are specifically designed as their sole combat function or as one of their combat functions to cause permanent blindness to unenhanced vision is prohibited. So the convention already said that you can't use these weapons. But National Institute of Justice, Joint Non-Lethal Weapons Program, and the Office of the Secretary of Defense are
buying them,
making them, testing them. Right? Why? Again, it comes back to the same thing. Why is the Social Security Administration buying hollow point bullets for, when hollow point bullets are illegal everywhere? And it's a common fact that hollow point bullets are illegal. Why are they buying them?
Why?
Right?
To load what gun?
Right? And to shoot at who? At these same rioting idiots who want to go out there and pretend like, that's a position. Right? After the US agreed to the blinding laser protocol in 1995 under President Clinton, so now they have a protocol for blinding lasers. This is what these people are doing in their little suit and tie off AC air-conditioned offices out there. They're not talking about lowering your taxes and all that stuff. These people are making weapons to destroy
Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton, right?
They had this weapon in the 90s. So all those things you see on TV is, you know what I mean?
The Pentagon was forced to cancel several blinding laser weapons programs that were in the works. But the phaser rifle can skirt this regulation because the blinding effect is apparently temporary due to its low intensity laser. According to a US Air Force fact sheet, the laser light from phaser temporarily impairs aggressors by dazzling them with one wavelength. The second wavelength causes a repel effect that discourages advancing aggressors. A significant amount of research and experimentation is still required to gain full understanding of the safety, military effectiveness, and the limitations of these future capabilities. Right? Laser blinding dazzler.
That's like that Men in Black stuff.
Right? Yeah, straight Men in Black stuff. Right? So there's the dazzler gun. So then they have 50 of these guys just lined up,
just shooting
Just
thin
shooting-
air. They look
shooting
like
thin air.
whatever.
Right? Just
They're not
shooting thin air
you don't shoot a bullet.
Protesters.
I guess it doesn't make it's not a conventional. It doesn't make a noise like a rifle.
Right.
It's like Nintendo or something.
Yeah, yeah. The duck hunt.
Click.
Duck hunt gun.
Those ones.
Right? Duck hunt gun.
Wow.
Right? This is what they got. And these guys want to go out and play protesting and shit.
You can't.
Right?
You can't even fight those.
As law enforcement agencies and federal government accelerate their preparations for civil unrest, a new 5 million volt tactical cattle prod has been developed for the purposes of crowd control and pain compliance.
5 million point.
5 million volts.
Cattle prod.
Here at Defense Review, we've always gotten a kick out of cattle prods, particularly in the movies. You remember Goodfellas, right?
Wow.
Notice that these people take great pleasure in providing law enforcement fun weapons to abuse, assault, mutilate, and inflict pain on disarmed citizens in urban areas. So all these weapons are being targeted for a specific people.
Area, yeah.
This isn't, everybody's not going to get the cattle prod. Only certain people are going to get the cattle prod. Right? Only certain people are getting the cattle prod. Right? Do they acknowledge that it can kill you? It appears they're not too worried about that. Right? So there's your cattle prod. 5 million volts. Right? And from what they're saying, you can attach these to guns and stuff. Right? So it's easier to, if you have that on a shotty,
No one
right?
wants to
That's
come
like a
near
bayonet or whatever.
Yeah, modern
Right?
day. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Modern day bayonet.
Modern
right?
day bayonet.
Electrified bayonet. Right? Before you even get to pull out your whatever. Right? The Albuquerque Police Department now has taser shotguns in its arsenal.
These are shotguns, really.
And don't forget, you can go Google, you can go
Google it, check
YouTube
it
all
out,
this
yeah.
stuff, and everything's there.
Is on there for
Right?
sure.
Everything's there, right? Most of us are familiar with handheld tasers and understand that they work only if police are standing pretty close to you, about 20 feet. But Taser has developed Taser times 12, a 12-gauge shotgun that instead of firing lethal bullet rounds is designed to fire taser projectile rounds, known as extended range electronic projectiles, XREP. According to a July 21st press release, so they released, right?
July
21st.
21st?
This is probably like
A year ago?
a year ago or something, 2 years ago. Maybe longer than that, because it's saying about 2008 in here.
Okay.
Laser International has taken the XREP to the next level, teaming up with Australian electronic gun company Metal Storm to enhance the 12-gauge multi-shot accessory under barrel launcher. Multi-shot accessory under barrel launcher, MAL. And you know what MAL means, right? Like, you know when MAL, M-A-U-L.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You get mauled by a pit bull?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. These shotguns will be mauling people, right?
Well, what does it say?
Multi-shot accessory under barrel launcher.
That tells me like you're gonna shoot bullets. You're gonna shoot taser stuff.
Multi-shot.
Different kind of stuff.
Different stuff. You
tear
can load
gas,
whatever in
might-
this. Yeah,
who
you
knows?
can load whatever in this, right? The two companies will combine Metal Storm MAL stack projectile technology to provide semi-automatic fire, as the operator can squeeze the trigger, which boasts a full weapon reload of up to 5 rounds in less than 2 seconds. Picture 5 rounds of Taser XREP cartridges flying out in less than 2 seconds up to 30 yards away. That is the plan. Right? And there's your
That's your shoddy.
your shoddy with a
Taser round.
coming at you. Right? This is what they have. I hope Black Panther Party has this stuff, huh? They better be saving up their money, because
they better be on their job.
they better have that stuff.
Getting some serious.
Because if they don't have this stuff, you guys better not play no freaking go out there and kill cracker games, huh? Because these guys aren't playing.
Well, they will deal with you.
These guys aren't playing. Accuracy International AS-50 sniper rifle. The weapon AS-50 was manufactured by a British firm under the name Accuracy International. The most popular feature of it is it enables its user to focus on its target from a very long range with high accuracy. This rifle is highly transportable, ergonomic, and lightweight. In addition, the disassembling of an AS-50 could be acquired under 3 minutes without any tool usage. Other design features include 2-part machine steel receiver, additional rails, accuracy, all the stuff we don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But there it is right there. Right? This is what they have in their arsenal for when you guys kick off your stupid race riot.
To shoot you from like Hamilton,
Right.
like across the water from Buffalo, or
like distance.
Some stupid stuff.
Okay, and the list goes on and on and on. Right. F-2000 assault rifle. Right. They just have it up. Right. Advanced Crew Served Weapon, XM307, right? It's just stuff that they have just there.
Advanced
right?
Crew
Conventional weapons. These are conventional. This is not high-end stuff. This is just the little stuff that little man just gonna, wheel out of the truck. Two man just carry this out. The soldiers on the ground, right? On the ground, right? DSR-50 sniper rifle that includes necessary modifications to fire the more powerful 50 caliber round. It is a bolt-action anti-material rifle that is manufactured in Germany. The DSR-50 is configured into bullpup design with free-floating barrel, all that stuff that we don't know what the hell they're talking about, but they got, right? And remember that you're not just going up to them and saying, yeah, I want to buy one of these and get it, right? Okay.
They'll sell you the AK, but this is not. This is next level. The AK is old. They'll sell you those.
Medusa, mob excess deterrent using silent audio. Right, Medusa.
Oh, the thing for the ears.
Yeah, a directional, non-lethal weapon designed for crowd control and exploiting the microwave auditory effect. It uses microwave impulses to generate uncomfortably high noise levels in the human skulls, bypassing ears and eardrums.
Shoot right through your
right? Bypass your ear and eardrums and go right to your head.
Don't even
to
worry
your brain.
About your ears.
Don't even worry about your ears. Ears don't mean nothing when they got this
your
stuff.
Brain,
And a lot of this stuff we already seen in G8, G20, and all those type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I knew about the loud thing, the noise thing that they had, right?
Yeah. Right.
And they have those ones out there.
Right. Skunk is a malodorant, non-lethal weapon used for crowd control. Remember, just notice everything's for crowd control.
Yeah, that's there.
Right? That's the phrase, crowd control. Deriving its name from the animal of the same name, skunk is dispersed in a form of a mist fired from a water cannon, which leaves a terrible odor of rot or sewage on whatever it touches. It does not wash off easily and is said to linger on clothes for up to 5 years.
On clothes.
Imagine smelling like a skunk for 5 years because they sprayed you with this. Right? 5 years this thing's you're gonna smell. 5 years?
Man,
right? The diabolical nature, right? And remember, keep in mind, right? Noble Drew Ali told the Moors to get out of your uncivilized position, right? Proclaim your nationality and become civilized. Because if you don't have a civilized position, the citizens are going to force their mistreatments, abuses, weapons of whatever against you because you choose to be uncivilized. Right? We already know that they got pepper spray.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That they can deal you with, right? And this is different. This is different level pepper spray, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pepper spray weapons systems,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pepper spray projectiles, pepper balls, pepper liquid, pepper gas, pepper aerosol, right? Pepper powder. Pepper spray weapon systems are used by law enforcement, military, and other organizations and individuals. The weapon is used generally in the role of standoff weapons, where physical proximity to a suspect is deemed dangerous, but deadly force is not warranted. For all those people who like to go face to face, you know, with line, you know, you have the
Yeah,
line,
you stand right there
and then you
yell
stand
at
and
the
just
cop
yell
and
at them or whatever. Okay, they just spray your ass
some next level
with some next level pepper spray, not the little cough, sneeze pepper spray, right? And again, put in your mind, right, that all this stuff was presented by a Gulf War veteran, who's experienced all this stuff, right? Experienced all this stuff to the point where I was straight telling him that, yeah, you know, you got to come present the stuff, and he's like, can't because of the what's the freaking post-traumatic
yes.
going back in his mind about all this stuff or whatever.
So he might flip out just going in depth and
just dealing with this stuff.
He might freak out in class.
Right? Like he gave me specific, you know what I mean, things to, you know, just things off the top of his head. Because he's like, yo, if I go in about this, I'm gonna revisit things. You know what I mean? Right?
Things he can't even tell us.
He doesn't want to
about. He's like,
things that, you know what, I'm gonna just leave it at that. You know what I mean? You guys just deal with that little bit right there. Because if I give you everything, people go crazy, go mad, start jumping off buildings if they know what type of stuff that these people have to use against them. Not to go in some other country.
Not defend your country.
Yeah, not defend the country.
At home.
Use against you.
So what?
That they had in the making 50, 60 years ago. Right? Waiting for these niggers to you guys just do it. Just do it.
Just do something.
Just do it. Please do it.
Start a riot, a revolution.
Just do it, and let's see what happens. Right? The most revolutionary thing that you could do is proclaim your nationality. Forget go out and go fight, because we're not beating these guys.
It's not a physical war again.
You're not beating these guys in a physical war.
500 years ago when it was
ain't
a sword and a sword.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
You get 10 guys. I get 10 guys.
Yeah, and we just sort it out and see.
Sort it out, and whoever wins.
That's not the days that we're in right now. You know what I mean?
We're past the bow and arrow. Long past the bow and arrow.
Right? Now, again, right, where we're getting all this information from, right? You know, all these different organizations that nobody heard about.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, this now is from U.S. Congress Office of Technology Assessment.
Okay.
So research that office. Because don't forget, James Traficant came out and told y'all that Congress done got bought out to the the IMF and international bodies and all that, and Congress isn't even Congress anymore.
Yeah.
Congress is done gone.
Yeah.
Right? Electronic eavesdropping technology, audio surveillance, radiating devices and receivers, non-radiating devices, wired surveillance systems including phone taps and concealed microphones, tape recorders, laser facilitated listening devices, rifle mics, and other remote equipment, rifle mics, whatever that is. Go do your research. Even phones can be made hot on the hook, i.e. turned into microphones when not in use. Right? All these smartphones, they're smart for a reason. Right? Optical imaging technology, photographic techniques, zoom lens and infrared cameras, television, closed circuit, night vision devices, image intensifiers, satellite-based viewing, up to and including the monitoring of writings as they are written indoors.
The monitoring of writings as
satellite-based viewing, up to and including the monitoring of writings as they are written indoors.
So as I'm sitting there,
Indoors,
they
right?
I could be writing
And
the grocery list, and
it might sound like some, it might sound like someone out there in Star Trek or whatever.
No.
There's a reality to this. You know what I mean? Because again, right? I have no reason to believe. Like man showed me his credentials. He's Desert Storm, right? It's not even like you know what I mean. He wasn't there. He was in the stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he knows what's up, right? And he's letting the cat out of the bag because just like everybody else that works for them, right? Eventually, you come to your common sense where you can't do this no more.
And especially if you're,
you know what I mean,
on the ground. If you're an average person on the ground level, you know what I mean. Those are usually the guys who are like, nah, man, I shot the gun for who?
Exactly.
I killed people for
I can't
who?
do this. Can't do this.
The guy in the office, maybe he doesn't feel the same way as I feel, but different story.
Right. Computers and related technologies, microcomputers, decentralization of machines and distributed processing, computer network, software, pattern recognition system, voice-activated and thought-activated computers.
Thought-activated computers.
Thought-activated computers.
Not voice-activated.
Yeah.
There's a difference between voice and thought activation.
Yeah. Thought-activated computers.
One thing if I tell you to turn on, if I walk in the room like, and then next thing you know, TV's on, the stove's on.
Your stuff just going on.
You know what I mean? Someone's cooking rice.
Printer just printed.
Just printed stuff.
Right. In many countries, the military operates tracking stations assisting the giant American National Security Agency. The NSA covertly monitors every call, fax, email, telex, and computer data message. The relevant computers search for keywords and phrases. Anything anyone of interest is drawn to the attention of agency operatives. This can lead to a large-scale personal surveillance operations by NSA or other agencies like the CIA and their criminal connections. The current system is called Echelon. Right? Magnetic sensors, seismic sensors, infrared sensors, strain sensors, electromagnetic sensors, video harassment laser systems, over-the-horizon technologies, neurophones and similar technologies, satellite or ground-based, infrared, infrasound weapons, scalar wave weapons, SCALAR, anti-personal weapons, cellular radio, laser interception devices, voice stress analyzers, etc., etc. Right? So now, when we look at Negro, black, colored people, right? When they riot, this is how they riot: placards, fists in the air, you know what I mean? Little
chants,
slogans,
singing,
signs, slants, whatever, right? Stupidness, right? When nationals protest, they don't have nothing but flags, and they have their flag. When nationals protest, they have flags of their nation when they protest.
Yeah.
Right?
Egypt. Is Egypt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's true. You might see a sign here and there, but they're waving flags.
They're waving
right?
flags. Right? Why? Because revolutionary or the revolution is nationality.
But
The revolution is to be nationalized.
You don't see us with no flag.
We have no flag. And if we do have a flag, it's 50 of them. Right? If we do have a flag, it's 50 of them. Right? When people protest, they got flags. This one's supposed to be Turkey, I think. Right? They have their flag that they're repping. Because the most revolutionary thing that you can do is have a nationality. The most revolutionary thing that you can do is not kill a cracker. Right? Walk on the street, pull a cracker out of a truck, kick his ass. That's not revolutionary. That's stupid.
It's not helping us.
Right? Because when you show that you're a part of a nation, they can't touch you. They can't bring water hoses or hollow point bullets and come out spraying or audio whatever devices and whatever like
these
that.
things, yeah.
They can't do those things. They can't touch nationals, no matter where you go in the world. And again, comes back to the same thing. Go out there and do your research on national protests. And just take a look. Just Google black protesters.
There's a difference
And
between...
then Google different countries' names that have flags that protest, and notice the difference in how their
Setup, how the
their
protest
setup
goes.
how their protest goes, right? And notice who gets their ass kicked
At the protest.
at the protest, and who gets pepper sprayed, and who gets whatever, and who doesn't. Whether they're shutting down, right? Whether they're like,
because these people don't get protest.
Right.
Don't get.
right? When we told you about the Sri Lankans protesting in Toronto, when they shut down the Gardner,
Conduct referendum on Tamil Eelam
Right.
and investigate.
so when they shut down the Gardner,
Nation by Sri Lanka.
right?
There
There was no
water
police
hose,
dogs and water hosing
No one
and
could really.
baton people and beating up people or whatever. These guys shut down the Gardner middle of the day for 4 hours or whatever. The main artery for traffic in the city shut
If it
down.
was us, we'd get arrested.
Get these niggas off the street so
Yeah,
we could
yeah.
go to work or
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
lunch or
yeah.
whatever.
Come
Right?
on.
Like, get them out of here.
I'm not trying to
Right?
blow.
That's not happening to nationals. So we have to change our approach. You know what I mean? Like, we have to change our approach. If we don't change our approach, don't worry. They have everything in place already.
Quick question about this picture, which is interesting. It says the Tamil Nation by Sri Lanka. Almost like the Tamil Nation is separate from the country or the government.
Yeah, because
Sri Lanka.
see, because Sri Lanka is the land,
And
not
the people. The people
The
are
people
the
are
nation.
Tamil. So the people are the nation,
Are the nation.
right? But if this was us, black nation by Africa,
Yeah.
and then there'll be no Africans in the crowd,
Yeah.
because all of them know that you're Congolese or Senegalese or
then it breaks down to that
like,
as well.
you're not African,
Yeah.
right? And again, man could say, let's go back to Africa, because he's from Senegal.
Yeah, he could say that. Where am I gonna go?
You know what I mean? Yeah. When you go back to Senegal, where am I gonna go?
Yeah.
Right? Right? When our people protest, signs, fists in the air, you know what I mean? Wasting time. And this is to let our people see the evidence that's against them. You know what I mean? Stop listening to idiots who are officers of the court trying to get you to kick off some race riot that he's going to be able to jump on a plane and go to some other country and leave you here to have to clean up this mess that you created. No different than LA riots and all that. It doesn't have to be bloodshed for freedom. It doesn't have to be bloodshed for freedom. Declare who you are. Because the most revolutionary thing you could do is proclaim your nationality. Right? Signs. Placards.
Free the genocides.
You know what I mean? And we're always promoting, You don't have to promote free the genocides. That's obviously what you're there for. You don't have to promote equal rights. Obviously that's what you're there for. Right? But that's what we do, promote. Right? We're promoters. We promote everybody. We promote Nike.
Everybody.
We promote Skittles,
Sony,
and Arizona iced tea.
Skittles
Right?
and Arizona
We promote hoodies and we always promote somebody else's stuff. Right? I bet guaranteed that they have to go spend money at some European to go make these signs right here.
Yeah.
Same cracker that they're talking about they're gonna kill.
Yeah. They're gonna find one of their peoples to Go
Right?
deal with the sign.
And then if they found one of their people to deal with the sign, they're gonna complain that, oh, well, his prices are too high, so we're not gonna use him.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Mr. Chin down there because he has 50 cents or whatever. And then say that, oh yeah, well, Mr. Chin's taking jobs from our community because his print store is in our community, and
and he's undercutting us.
He's undercutting us instead of giving us a cut of all the profits that we give because we support him.
Yeah.
Right? Hypocrisy. Right? Right? Signs. That's what we do.
Corporate color.
Right? No, not one flag of a nation. And you wonder why they fire hose and do all these things. Right? How are you going to go out in a protest and not have your flag up? Right?
And you don't have a flag.
Right?
You're gonna wave like the Brooklyn flag, or you're gonna wave
Like, what are you waving?
the Africa flag, or are you gonna wave?
Right? This is what we do. Right? This is what we do. All we do is have placards. Right? Right? We've seen this. And I'll hold it up so you can see compared to what you saw with just go Google the Egypt protests. All you see is Egyptian flags everywhere.
That's true still.
Nobody doesn't have a plaque about something. And if they do have a plaque, right, they're cussing somebody or, you know what I mean? They have a picture of something to show that, we're in defiance
of this person. Not just saying, oh, please stop.
Yeah, stop racial discrimination
stop doing
now.
What you're saying. They'll put a picture of the guy's head and like an arrow thing, like a cross to it or something.
Something. Right? Something. Okay? They know that we are passive people. And the only way we get out that passive mentality is if we have something to live for. And the only thing we can live for is our nation. If you're not living for your nation, then you might as well just be a nigger and take what you get. Right? Take what you get.
Living a selfish life, there's not enough reward in living a selfish just for you lifestyle.
Exactly.
I gotta get my hair did, my nails done, I gotta go out on Friday. I gotta do me. But it's not rewarding. There's no...
Right? So once and also too, make sure you go out and get King Alfred Plan. It's on rvbaypublications.com. Right? Go out and get King Alfred Plan, because this is the military plan that they're using to suppress the people who don't have a nationality. Right? Okay? And if you think that it's a joke, go and get the Declaration of Rights. The Declaration of Rights of Human Rights, Article 15. Everyone has the right to a nationality. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality, nor denied the right to change his nationality. Principle 3 in the Declaration of the Rights of a Child. The child shall be entitled from his birth to a name and nationality. And Article 5, every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. And that's the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. That everybody's going to say, Barack Obama, what are you doing to help the Trayvon Martin situation? Well, he already did what he was going to do. He signed the United Declaration of Indigenous People. Right?
He signed that.
He signed it. Which means that
I signed it now. You just got to do your part.
You got to do your part. He did his part. 3 years ago he did his part. 2010 they signed that. And people still are gonna cuss this man, tell he's not doing what he's supposed to do, whatever. When he gave you the window.
Exactly. I guess they expected to see a black guy, a nigger in charge, and they're just like, all right, we're just getting the service now.
Yeah, and
yo, he's in there, we're getting the service.
Right? And our people are trained. Our people are trained to think that
you're entitled.
They're they need a leader. When I self-law am master.
Yeah, I am my own.
Don't need no leader.
I am my own leader.
You are your own leader.
You have to understand that. You have to understand. If you ain't in charge of no one else, from day one, you are the leader of yourself. A one-man army. You are the leader of yourself.
Right? One-man army.
People don't think like that, right?
Right. So to close out, we're just gonna read a little part of. We're gonna just read a little part of this book right here. Montauk Book of the Dead by Peter Moon, which is in the Library of Congress. Right?
This book is in the Library of Congress?
Yeah.
Is this a law book? Kind of, sort of?
Watch this. Watch this.
Because just judging the title, it seems like a storybook.
Yeah, it seems like a storybook, but
seems like a a myth, just a story,
right.
Fantasy, fictional.
Watch this. Right? Page 418. The document Juali received was a copy of a mandate whereby the Amexem Empire extended a land grant of the entire Western Hemisphere to certain Europeans. I have not yet seen the document, and its exact contents are highly mysterious, yet its ramifications literally turned the United States of America upside down. Essentially, it leased America to a certain party for a particular number of years, not unlike the way China leased Hong Kong to Great Britain. The lease was up in 2004. It is entirely reasonable to believe that such a document, if it still exists, can be brought to light, is a mere relic of a long forgotten era that has no significant meaning in today's legal system. That would be fine except for one very important point. If you have truly studied the detailed legal history of the United States of America, you would understand that there is more than a little truth to the prospect of there being such a document. Why? The entire legal history of the United States is predicated on such a proposition. What is known is that Secretary of State Hughes from the U.S. government attended the Pan American Conference and was made privy to this mandate. So were several other heads of state. As a result, a closed-door conference between several nations was held in Geneva, Switzerland. An elaborate series of discussions and negotiations began. The Geneva conferences went on for some 5 years, but the records are still kept sealed to this very day. It is known that several international banks called in their loans as a result of this potential legal threat, and the stock market crashed in 1929. Several countries, which included the United States, Portugal, France, and Spain, declared bankruptcy in order that relevant powers could buffer themselves from any potential legal claims. In the case of the United States of America, it was reorganized with a new corporate legal status. Franklin D. Roosevelt was part and parcel of the entire plan when he abolished the gold standard and created the New Deal. Federal Reserve notes were then issued in place of gold-backed currencies. The Great Seal of the Moors was put on the back of the notes. People behind the Geneva conferences were so concerned about any potential boomerangs from the Moorish issue that they began a full-barreled character assassination of Moorish heritage. The most flagrant example of this was when two master masons put together the infamous Amos and Andy show, and it became the first nationally syndicated radio show in history. It was deliberately designed to spoof the Moorish Science Temple by lampooning them as the mystic order of the Knights of the Sea, and callously referred to them as sardines. From one perspective, this can be viewed as hysterically funny, especially when you consider The dignitaries were given titles such as swordfish, mackerel, and kingfish. On the other hand, it was a deliberate and malicious act of intent designed to portray any Moors as the most laughable example of what could be termed the lowest common denominator. Not long after Amos and Andy had its national debut, Drew Ali was arrested and mysteriously died. This is being ignored by both history and conspiracy books. When you see how integrally connected the Moors are to the history of the world, let alone the United States, you see that they are a guidepost to the true history of the planet. This is the lamp of illumination, the hermit's lamp from the tarot, that the secret societies have long paid tribute to in their writings. By reason of our social conditioning, it seems utterly preposterous that the old Moorish Empire could have an actual court of law legal claim on this country. Conversely, it appears that world leaders have been deathly afraid of such and have been prepared themselves to legally avoid the inevitable. Once again, the Moors show themselves to be hardwired into the infrastructure of our consciousness as well as the historical paper trail. Right? Montauk Book of the Dead.
So, and this gentleman, Peter Moon,
Yeah.
he wrote that.
Yeah, he's a European.
Yeah, and he's a member of Parliament in America.
He's just
a
an author.
He's just an author.
That's an author. Actually, let's see if they have a little.
It's just interesting. You know what I mean?
Very, very.
This guy's like, no. There was a Moorish a land grant. There was a Moor, and they granted the whole like we put a lease on the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, it's out there.
In 1992, a new genre of literature was born when Peter Moon collaborated with Preston Nicholas to author the Montauk Project, Experiments in Time, the story of quantum time travel event demonstrably proven to have affected mass consciousness. To everyone's surprise, the quest to find out more about this quantum event resulted in serendipitous experiences of synchronicity that have not only continued to repeat but have thrust the entire investigation to the threshold of where myth and legend meet reality. The pace of this quest was afforded Peter Moon scant time to answer the many questions that have arisen about this enigmatic background until now. The Montauk Book of the Dead is a tale of intrigue and power which hover over and most sacred kernel of our existence, the secrets of life and death. Peter Moon not only revels fascinating details of his years aboard L. Ron Hubbard's mystery ship, but gives the most candid and inside look over one of the most controversial figures in recent history. So today, Montauk Book of the Dead, King Alfred Plan a little bit, right? You already know, Black's Law, 4th edition, right? And don't forget, this is going to be uploaded so you can go back and you can review, so you can get the names of all these weapons that these people have, so you can do your own research just to make sure that you're considering nationality as your weapon instead of going out there with some Glock or whatever, thinking that you're going to kill some crackers. You have no chance. These people would eat your food, right? Probably eat you after.
Did you see the black girl when she was on Piers Morgan, her definition of cracker?
No.
Because everyone thought it was a racial thing, and she goes, I don't mean cracker as in a white person. She means cracker as in someone who cracks the whip. So anyone who's in a position of authority, she regards as a cracker.
As a cracker.
So it doesn't matter what your color is, but if you're in a Babylon uniform and you're working for them, and you crack the whip on us for them, you're a cracker.
You're a cracker.
You know what I mean? The judge is a cracker.
Yeah.
The lawyer's a cracker. You know, anyone who tries to force you into, you know what I mean? Crack the whip on you. That was her.
That's the cracker.
Yeah.
For real.
That was her. That was her after when she was on, I think, Piers Morgan.
And then people bypass that, you know what I mean, and say, oh, the crackers are European, that, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how messed up we have it. So we got 7 online, good number. I know there's probably some people who didn't log in or whatever like that. So we want to send our send our Islam to the Moors out there. Make sure, you continue to get the word out on nationality and birthrights, because that's the only thing that's going to save our people right now. If they're not on nationality and birthrights, they're going to be lost forever in the tornado of nothingness. Right? So I say Islam to the Moors, so let's do a close out with the prayer and call that class. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, Noble Juwali, Islam. Peace and Hotep Moors, and we'll see y'all next week. And don't forget, if you're in Tio, Yasin Bey concert on Thursday.
Oh yeah, Thursday.
And trust me, the Moors will be up in there, fezzes up, because we gotta let Yasin know what's up in the dot. Islam Moors.